In fact, getting in some videos. Let's cue up that video. First CCTV pictures emerging. In fact, in the case, telling you details about the investigation of how the police recovered a few items from Aaftab's residence, and seen in these pictures the CCTV videos right now. First pictures of the Delhi police taking away a few items from Aaftab's rented flat in Chhattisgarh. So one of the pictures that we're getting in from the national capital of the police probing the case. The Delhi police at his residence find some items. They have retrieved these items and they have taken it away with them. Piyush Ori, my colleague, has accessed these pictures and sharing the details of that, of the Delhi police carrying away a few items from Aaftab's rented apartment in Chhatarpur in the national capital. The Delhi police have been saying, maintaining that his statements have been inconsistent. There are many missing links in the case, missing evidences. They believe what he has said doesn't match up. They have retrieved some items from his house, and in this video, in fact, that we've accessed, the police seen taking away a few items from his house in bags. And as we stay on these pictures, we will get Piyush Ori live as well. Piyush Ori tracking the story for us. Piyush, can you hear me? Piyush, let's see if we have Piyush Ori. Shravan, if Shravan is there, we'll go across to Shravan. And Shravan will be joining us live. Shravan and Piyush will be joining us live. And with the details of what the police have recovered, they have taken away a few items. In fact, there were reports earlier that they found a few gloves from his residence. Among the other items that have been seized, that include a refrigerator, a 300-litre refrigerator that was used to store the body parts of Shraddha after the murder. And it's taken them nearly 6 months to crack the case, and 6 months later, many evidences, many proofs left behind in the house of Aaftab Amin Poonawalla. There are details also emerging of how there were bloodstains found in the kitchen, bloodstains and blood marks that were found in other parts of the house, even now 6 months later, which shows that he wasn't able to perhaps clean up the crime scene. There were details also emerging this morning in the course of the investigation that suggest that the police have a confession that he may have dismembered the body of Shraddha, may have chopped her up into pieces in the bathroom, kept the shower open, water running, the shower running to ensure that he was able to dismember her body. These are some disturbing details coming in the course of the investigation that we've been able to pick up. And they still believe that there could be a lot more. For example, are there more people involved? Was it an organized crime? Some of these details are still coming in. Let me go across to Shravan. Shravan will be joining us live, along with Piyush Ori. Shravan and Piyush Ori will be joining us live. Let me see if Shravan is live with us right now. Shravan, what does this CCTV video show us? What's in this tape, and what does it show about the manner in which the police has gone about the investigation?
Well, in fact, this is the first set of CCTV visuals that are coming in from Chhatarpur. This is when the recovery was actually being made by the Delhi police. So just to put this into perspective, when it all started, on the 9th of November, when Mumbai police had actually reached Delhi, they had transferred the case. An FIR was registered in Mehrauli police, and they finally tracked down Aaftab. Because remember, Aaftab was already questioned by the Mumbai police, and they had essentially shared the input with Delhi police, indicating that there was, the statements were changing very frequently. So the first, suspicion was only towards Aaftab, because that was the last known location. Important to point out here is the fact that when the arrest actually took place, immediately searches was basically carried out, because what they figured out is that she was last seen at this very place. Roughly about 3 to 4 days is what we are picking up. Now, what thereafter transpired is that they recovered some elements, some recoveries that were made from the rented apartment. It turns out what you see right now on your screens, the CCTV footage is of the recovery that was made by the Delhi police from the Chhatarpur residence. In fact, there are certain reports that are suggesting that bones were also recovered from that very rented apartment of Aaftab. Now, that is yet to be verified by the Delhi police, but what we are getting to you right now is that first set of visuals, the CCTV image of that recovery that was made by the Delhi police. Now, what is it that we know so far? It's fast-paced developments are taking place in this entire matter. One of the biggest challenges that the Delhi police is right now facing is making the recovery in terms of bones, parts of Shraddha's body, because remember, it was, as you pointed out, chopped off into about 30 to 35 pieces. So far, only about 12 to 13 pieces have been recovered. It's turning out to be very challenging because remember what essentially happened was that every night between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when he was trying to dispose of the body parts. And large amount of the body parts were basically being disposed of in the Mehroli forest, which turns out to is quite dense, and the fact that it has got multiple exits, that is the reason why they're finding it extremely difficult. It's also important to point out is that in terms of the trial at a later stage, they will have to also prove the fact that whatever recovery has been made, that is of a female body. So far, the recoveries that they have made is essentially of bones, the limb, and not really the body, not really the torso or the head. And not just that, also the murder weapon, a sword that was basically used, a meat cleaver that was used by Aaftab, that hasn't been recovered so far. He's trying to mislead the police, and that is exactly why the decision essentially being taken by the Delhi police that there is a need to do a narco test. Court order is expected to come in, and only after that the narco test would be conducted, because it turns out that there is an inconsistency in this entire statement that has been recorded so far. In fact, the Mumbai police has also indicated the same, that the statements that they have recorded, at least 2 sets of statements that have been recorded of Aaftab, there are inconsistencies in this entire matter. And that is exactly why the Delhi police now essentially focusing on a narco test, and also the fact that last evening is when he was taken to Mehroli forest, and there is a possibility that he would be brought to the Chhatarpur rented apartment, because that's where the murder was committed. That's where the dismembered parts of Shraddha's was kept. Therefore, roughly about 15 to 18 days is what we are picking up at this point in time. So the investigation is still underway. They're also looking at the possibility that whether at all there were any accomplices or not, because it turns out that even after the murder, Aaftab had certain visitors coming to his rented apartment in Chhatarpur, and that is the reason why it's raising the other concern. That
in fact, this is the first. In this video, in fact, if I'm not wrong, there are at least, Shravan, there are at least 10 to 15 police officers, and this seems to be the moment when he was picked up on the 12th of November, because the police in this video is seen taking him away. I repeat, the police is seen taking him away. He's masked, they put a mask over his head, and he's perhaps been seen taken away, being taken away from his residence. They're also carrying what looks like a few items from his residence, a few packets. So this seems like the moment of arrest. Shravan, more than taking away a few items, it seems like this was the very moment when he was picked up, or when he was taken back perhaps, to collect some evidence back in the house.